I've met some of my best friends hunting that we've bonded in the woods over, and I'll never forget those days sitting in the turkey woods with a girlfriend and just sort of laying in your life out there and figuring out that you got a lot more in common than just hunting and becoming fast friends.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing and the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your host, Angie Scott and Barb Carey.
Hey everybody, Angie Scott here on behalf of my co-host Barb Carey and myself. Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast is produced every Tuesday for your enjoyment, and show notes can be found at thewomanangler.com/podcast. Come back often and feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or on iTunes, or subscribe on whatever your favorite podcast platform is. You can also follow us on Instagram at The Woman Angler and on Facebook at Woman Angler Podcast. All links are in the show notes. This week, I'm talking to Amy Ray from Sisterhood of the Outdoors. Now let's get into the show. Amy, welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast. I had the pleasure of meeting you in person not too long ago at the National Wild Turkey Federation Convention in Nashville, and I'm honored to have you as a guest on the show today. How was that event for you? I know when I stopped by to chat with you, your booth was super busy.
It was insane. We doubled our booth size this year and brought on our new logo wear and our new clothing partner, Paramount Outdoors, and I think all the hard work that we've done in the past year to promote the sisterhood, let people know what we were about, try to make sure that people understood that we were an organization supporting women in the outdoors and creating events for women to actually book and go outdoors. So our signage was new. Our banner was bigger. We think it just made a bigger impact. It was awesome to have that kind of response.
Yeah, I was impressed, and you had an awesome setup there. It was my first time at the convention, and I had no idea how big it was. In fact, I think I read that they said this year's attendance was record-breaking. I want to say they had like over 56,000 attendees or something like that. So that's crazy.
I think it was, and the largest floor space that I've seen at the convention as well, and I think they're even expanding it again next year.
Wow. So
my thoughts are NWTF is one of the best outdoor shows to go to. Not only is it great for, supporting NWTF and conservation, it's a really consumer-friendly show. Mm-hmm. Not only can retailers do business there and buy things for their stores and book hunts, but it's just a great conservation atmosphere as well.
Yeah, I was really impressed overall, so I'll look forward to going again next year and seeing it expanded. It honestly is a little overwhelming, though, because there's just so much to just try to take it all in.
I don't think I saw the whole show, but I was busy in the booth.
Right, so. Yeah. Do you get to do a lot of those types of shows around the country?
I wish we could do more. We usually do NWTF every year. We've done that for 9 years. That's our go-to show.
Cool.
Not only is it close to home and we have a lot of staff in the area, it's easy for us to do financially. But the other show has usually been a regional show in Georgia where I'm home based. And this year we've decided to change it up and take it to the World Deer Expo in Alabama just to meet some new girls and see a new audience, because we don't have the time to go around and do all of the great shows because we're too busy creating opportunities and taking women hunting. So it's just a balance between how much time do you need to have selling retail and, building the brand and talking to consumers or meeting with partners at the shows, which I go to a lot of shows. I just may not be an exhibitor,
right?
Because I'm there meeting with the business partners and outfitters. So we're usually, there's a presence at the show, but maybe not the whole booth.
Well,
maybe that'll change in the future.
Yeah. So you kind of breeze over a little bit what Sisterhood of the Outdoors is. Can you give listeners who might not be familiar with your group a little bit more background on what you're all about and what you offer?
Well, we're a company that supports creating opportunities for women to go outdoors, whether that's hunting, shooting, or fishing. And we do that through a supportive atmosphere on social media. We do it through creating events with great outfitters. And each one of our events has a staff mentor on the event. So we've been leading mentored hunts for women since 2010. And it started out the first year when we were babes, bullets, and broadheads. Those ladies took 30, 35 people the first year, and now we take over 100, 150, even 200 ladies outdoors a year.
Wow.
With the impact that we have from our field staff, that number goes to the thousands because our staff are actually shooting instructors. They're fishing all the time and taking groups of women fishing. It may just not be on my books. So we measure our impact in the outdoors for not just new people to the industry, but maybe new to the sport, because there might be someone, like I used to fish all the time, but I never fly fished until a few years ago, and I just learned. So I'm just like everybody else, I might want to try something new. Well, since we have such a diverse offering, if you've deer hunted your whole life, but you never duck hunted, come duck hunt with us. Because once you get there, you're going to be well taken care of. We have a staff mentor. We share our gear. We make sure your license and tag application goes smoothly, help you out as much as we can with transportation and logistics. So it's kind of a really smooth process for someone who's like, gosh, how do I do that? I want to go ice fishing, but I don't know how, or I want to go duck hunting, but I don't know how. So we make ourselves available. And I really, really couldn't stress enough how important it is. If you want to recruit and retain and reintroduce someone to the outdoors through the R3 initiatives, the best thing you can do is have a personal interaction with that person. And I always tell everybody, take those classes, go to Becoming an Outdoor Woman, go to the WIDO, go to every single outdoor class you can think of. Get that background, that hunter safety education, then call us because we're step 2.
Cool. Well, how did you get started initially 9 years ago, I guess it was?
Well, our company has a long history because 3 friends started the company because of their love of the outdoors. And I was introduced to them because I was looking for women to hunt with. And you'll hear this a lot. Like you go online and you're like, what can I do to find more women in the outdoors in my area? So just through that kind of search, I found them, and my husband bought me a duck hunt with those ladies for a Christmas present. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go try duck hunting. Never shot a shotgun, never duck hunted. Drove all the way to Arkansas thinking, I've lost my mind. I don't know anybody. I've never done anything alone like that. No friend in the car with me. And I just showed up to a great atmosphere, and I was like, I really like the way this hunt was put on. And I'm like, they're on to something. This is great for women. And started to continually book hunts with them and became best friends with them. And a few years later, their lives changed and they couldn't continue the business. So I bought it from them. And that's when we rebranded, changed the name. And now I'm in charge and I'm running it. And it's a very similar model to how it started out, is create the event, work with the outfitter and mentor the ladies. Mm-hmm. So it's the same business model, just a new brand.
What's the reception been like to the rebranding?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows that the core of the business, the mission's the same, but everyone's been real pleased with, the way the Sisterhood of the Outdoors has been branded and represented the core of women in the outdoors. There's a little bit of something for everybody, whether you're young or old or new or experienced, so we feel like we've created something all-inclusive, and I've gotten great feedback from our business partners.
So you mentioned you have quite a large field staff, it sounds like. How do you go about choosing somebody to be on the field staff?
I get asked that question a lot. Number one, we don't put the application online very often. It's based on our needs because there's so many fabulous women out there that could do a great job promoting our business. But based on our business plans and our needs at the time in a geographical area of the time, we may seek out a staff member. Typically right now, we do a pretty good thorough background check on people. We look at all your social media, other companies you're involved in that may cause conflicts, and most importantly, How do you contribute to teaching women in the outdoors? Are you a licensed guide? Are you an outfitter? Are you an instructor with credentials? Have you gotten certified through NRA certifications for pistol, rifle, or shotgun? Do you teach 4-H? We want to know that this person's already involved in mentoring others and can carry out our mission. So while there's some great women to represent the outdoors, it's kind of more of a boots on the ground willingness. And I can't say enough about the group that we have right now. My staff is top notch and very proud of what they do in their local areas, very proud of how they represent our company. And so we don't take applications. A lot of times we'll handpick you. It's kind of an honor to be on our staff.
Yeah, it sounds like it. What does a field staff person get out of being involved with Sisterhood of the Outdoors?
Well, first and foremost, they're not in it because they want to be Insta-famous. I know a lot of people would cringe when I said that, but it's not about what I can do for you to make you my staff member. These girls really do it because their heart's in it. They do it because they love it. They get to utilize our avenues for outfitters to create their dream trips and go on their dream trips. So they have access to other activities in the outdoors that we might get invited to. We have relationships with business partners that might get them, gear or discounts on products if they need it. We try to make sure our staff have everything they need. So it's just, it's all about giving. It's not about what we can do for you.
Well, so what could a person expect? Can you kind of give an example maybe of a certain outing or trip and what somebody might be able to expect if they signed up or were involved in that?
Well, as soon as you sign up for our event, you're just going to pay a deposit. That's one thing we try to do is break up payments. So we do a non-refundable deposit to hold your spot because our bookings go fast. And we have an inventory situation on our website so we don't overbook. So you can't book something that's sold out. So that if it goes fast, you got to get in and get one of the inventory spots. Then the next thing will happen is you'll see I'll invoice you for the rest and allow for partial payments. And what that does is you'll either see from us like a guide to pay this, then pay, a few months later, pay this much. And then by this date, you have to be paid in full because we pay all of our outfitters in full before we go. So usually you're done paying for your trip a week or a month before your actual departure date. But once that's taken care of, you're invited by the staff host and myself. I'm usually the moderator on all the sites to a private event page on Facebook. And in that private event page is where you're going to meet the other women that are going to be involved in your trip. So that's a great place to ask questions. We keep it private so that there's no fear of asking a dumb question because we want to answer all your questions. And believe me, we've heard every question you could possibly think of, and we've answered it with kindness. So that's where you're going to see what your arrival dates, departure dates, what kind of accommodations. Do you need to carpool? Do you need to rent a car? Are you landing at the airport at the same time as this girl or that girl? Like, it's so good to help so you're not like totally on your own. And you can share expenses when you're trying to arrange to get to your hunt. And then they'll also tell you about your hunt. So now this is going to be where this is the type of clothes you need to wear. This is the type of boots you need. Here's the licensing information. Be sure and purchase this, and that conservation stamp is required, or, whatever those requirements might be. And just get you fully prepared. And then it's kind of really great because you feel like you may have met these people before you actually meet them in person, because that's what social media can do if you use it properly.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that you do that.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a really neat idea.
And that way I have one place to tell everybody, here's the license. Click here for the link. Here's, and we do cell phone numbers in the private area, and we do like group messages. So that's the big text message going on the day you leave. But it makes women feel well taken care of, all questions answered, and well prepared too, because most of the time, especially now this far in our business, someone on our staff has probably already done that hunt before and can really answer all the questions. So and if we don't, we just reach out to our outfitters.
So you get them all prepared for the event, and then they show up. I imagine every event is a little different just based on what it is and what you're going to be doing. But
Right.
walk us through just kind of an example of a type of event and what people actually experience.
Well, usually it's full of excitement when the women finally all get there, and hopefully everyone gets there safe and sound and nobody's flights or delays. We have always had to deal with, waiting on one last girl to get there. But as soon as everybody shows up, it's just immediate camaraderie and excitement and sharing stories, because usually a lot of times there'll be one or two ladies on the hunt that have hunted together before, because we have a lot of repeat bookers. So that's always fun to have like your one trip a year that you get to go with your friend Kim, or I know my friend Raquel hunts with me some, and I love to have another event with her when she books. And usually the first night is all about business, sign waivers, answer questions, figure out what the next meal is. What do I need to pack for the trip? If it's, the pack trip in Wyoming is a complicated event, but we're very good at it. So we can tell you what your bags need to weigh. You have to, have your duffels weigh 20 pounds a piece, and they don't mean 25, they mean 20, and it has to be even. So we work on things like that. We also do a license check and make sure everyone has the proper license and hunter safety situation so that we're completely legal to hunt wherever we're hunting. We have to take care of those issues. We take care of them the night before, and then depending on what kind of hunt it is, you get up early in the morning, just like any hunt. I always get teased because I'm the one that they say gets up early and plugs the sun in for everybody, because I'm usually up at 4 and I'm making coffee and I just can't wait, So then usually we're taking to our stands or out with our guides or to the duck blind or goose blind or whatever it may be. And, that's usually an early morning situation. And depending on what type of hunt it is, we'll come in for lunch, where maybe we'll eat lunch afield and go back out in the afternoon or finish for the day. And it's always great to have that campfire camaraderie, although I'm asleep most of the time when that happens. I find that there's women that we may have somebody who's missed an animal, or we had to track one, or, they didn't see anything and their spirits are down. But it's great when you have that supportive environment. So, hey, you got this, tomorrow will be your day, or here, let's work on your gun some more and see what's wrong with your shooting, or let me help you with your bow. I mean, those kind of things happen all the time during a hunt, and we're prepared to help you with that. That's why we have a staff member there. And we try to go that extra mile to make you feel successful, but we all know that it's hunting, and we can't control the animals and the weather, and terrible things happen, but it's still a hunt, and it's enjoyable to be out there.
It sounds like a great time. Now that you've been doing this for a while, are there any real special moments or memories that really stand out from one of these trips, or just an experience that keeps you doing what you're doing?
There's so many. Yeah. There's so many. I've met some of my best friends hunting that we've bonded in the woods over, and I'll never forget those days sitting in the turkey woods with a girlfriend and just sort of laying in your life out there and figuring out that you got a lot more in common than just hunting, and becoming fast friends. I can remember being there for a first duck more than once or twice, and one lady, I'm a widow. My first husband passed away, and I'm remarried. So I kind of get that feeling, but she called me and she said, I don't know if I should duck hunt with you, because I've never duck hunted. I've never shot a shotgun, but I've done this backwards. She said, I have a duck dog, and he's a very good duck dog, but I don't know how to hunt ducks. But her husband left her a lab, and she didn't know that he was training him, or how far along he was in his training, or what his situation was for duck hunting. But her husband had duck hunted. And she said the dog just looked at her like, what am I going to do? Mom's sitting on the couch all day. He's not going to cut it. And she's like, okay, I get it. She finally, like months after her husband died, sent the dog off to school to learn to be a duck hunting dog. And it turned out he was like this world champion type dog.
Wow.
So he entered contests and he kept winning. And she lives in Arkansas. So she was like, I kind of have this great duck dog, but I don't know how to duck hunt. I was like, we are the perfect people to do this for you. So she came, she duck hunted with us. She brought her dog, and we got her first duck, and her dog retrieved it for her. And I was just like, that was the coolest story ever. Everybody knows I have my heart on the mountain in Wyoming for the pack trips. Those trips are a higher level of difficulty, but way more pushing in your mind, body, and spirit in the outdoors than any other event that we do, in my opinion anyway. Being on that mountain with horseback, especially a little girl like me from Georgia, I'm in awe that I can even do that trip. I've done it 3 or 4 times. You may or may not have seen the story. One of our guests and a good friend of ours was mauled by a bear up there 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And that event will always be ingrained in my mind. I wrote about it in Women's Outdoor News, but, you know, we were there with professionals. We were there with great, strong women. And I wouldn't have prayed that God would put me on the mountain with anybody else other than the group that we were with, because we survived it. We got them off the mountain. They both lived. It was a guide and a girl. So that was an event that I'll never forget.
Yeah, no kidding.
I do plan to go back there this fall, and I have a bull tag, and I'm staying up there 6 days with those grizzly bears, and I'm going to kill a bull elk with 2 girlfriends. So sometimes we have to go walk through our fears, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, statistically speaking, getting mauled by a bear is low on the list compared to how dangerous it is to drive your car. There are things you can do to be bear aware. I do not recommend going in the backcountry without a professional outfitter. Know your bear spray, know your bear, tactics, whatever you're going to do. You are elk hunting in grizzly country. It requires you to be ready and prepared. And that's why we hunt with professional outfitters in that area.
Yeah. Well, is that article you wrote, is that available online, the Women Outdoor News article?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get a link to that and we'll share it in the show notes for this episode so if people want to check that out. So what kind of events do you guys have coming up? It sounds like you do some annual events.
Yeah, because we just keep booking them over and over again because they fill up or we have a waiting list. Coming up next weekend is the hog hunt in Georgia. And we have 8 ladies coming in from all over the U.S. We're going to Woods and Water Services. They've been an awesome outfitter of ours. And we're not hunting hogs over lighted baited stands.
Okay.
So look for some pork. It's called Field the Fork pork. We're going to be eating pork the whole weekend. We're going to grill some pork if we get some fresh pork Saturday. So we're excited about that one. And then April, we have Osceola turkey in Florida. We have 1 spot left on that hunt. And it's a go whether that spot fills or not. There's 3 of us going. We can take 1 more. Then in the end of April, we have a Missouri Eastern turkey hunt in a beautiful farm in northern Missouri, right on the Iowa border with Monster Whitetail Outfitters. And that one's hosted by Lana Van Winkle, who's the ladies' world champion, 2-time world champion duck caller. And she's an amazing turkey hunter. But that's 2 turkeys, 1 per day, for only $850, and it's Easterns. And then summer, we'll bring around some of our fishing trips and mountain programs. We're going to be fly fishing in West Virginia in May. We're going to have like a mountaineering camping trip in West Virginia at Smoke Hole Resort this summer. And I think there is a bow fishing trip in Wisconsin this summer that's filled up already. And then there's a sold out lake fishing trip on Lake Michigan that's sold out already.
Wow.
And then the fall will start our whitetail deer. We have openings for Missouri whitetail archery with monster whitetails, and you can take a buck, a doe, and a turkey with your bow over that weekend that you hunt there. It's a 4-day hunt. We still have room on that hunt for some takers, and then we have archery and rifle antelope hunts with Shantae, our guide in Wyoming. She owns Crazy Horn Outfitters. She's a licensed guide and outfitter out near Gillette. So there's room on both of those hunts. And then the mule deer is sold out. The cow elk pack trip sold out. And then we still have room on our Sika archery deer hunt, which is in Dorchester, Maryland. And a little bit of room, I think, left on one of the Alberta, Canada waterfowl hunts. And then we'll populate more waterfowl hunts. They're not added to the books yet. So keep checking back for more waterfowl hunts because we'll do more in December and January.
Wow, it sounds like you guys, yeah, you guys are really busy. That's awesome. Now, so you have the website, sisterhoodoutdoors.com. Gotcha. And so you have a membership. People need to sign up to be a member in order to have access to these different events. So, no. Okay.
Anyone can hunt with us. Members just might get an email from me about a members only deal. A lot of times an outfitter will send us unused dates or add another spot or discount something. If you're a member of the Sisterhood of the Outdoors, you're going to get that email first. It's not going to be advertised. We also have a few member discounts through our partners that are only good to members. So you have to join to do that. When you join, you're going to get a logo shirt or a hat in the mail with a packet of information. And we're trying to just keep growing the membership, because people are always saying, how do I join? I want to join. And the more we join together, the more say we have in the industry as well. So it's important to have that audience.
Yeah, and it looks like it's only $45 for the entire year. So it seems like that probably pays for itself. Yeah, it's an annual subscription. Yeah, and you're going to get some discounts in your packet that you're getting in the mail. It's about worth half that. So yeah, you're good. And we just want those members to help us and promote us and join in on the fun, more importantly, because it's just so fun what we do.
Well, I thank you for doing what you do. And I know, the industry is definitely starting to notice the growing female involvement in hunting and fishing and other outdoor activities. So it feels good that the tide is slowly starting to shift. And I think the more that people like your organization and some others out there just all kind of band together, the bigger impact we're going to keep making. So yeah, I really appreciate what you do. And, maybe someday, we could partner together on some events, we're just kind of now starting to get involved. We have a Cape Cod fishing trip that we're planning, as kind of, to be a sponsor of this fall. And so as we get more into that, it would be really fun if we could do some stuff together somewhere down the line. So
I'm always open to new ideas and proposals. So. Yeah. Awesome. Especially if it involves getting some more women outdoors. I do want to say one thing. We what we pride ourselves on in my staff is diversity and the representation, not only geographical, but in skill level. And we do have some new younger hunters on our staff because we need their perspective. And then we have some people who are, retirement age and have a lifetime of experience hunting. And that just brings everything to the table for us. So I value so much when I ask a question about, what do you think about this in the outdoors, or this law, or this trip, or this conservation effort? Then I get so many great perspectives, and it just really helps our business. And it keeps me humble, and it keeps us ready to grow. And I think what you said, like, more women are definitely outdoors. I love the progress that's being made. And I would say that I'm surrounded by powerful women all the time, and I love it. Like they're very, the industry is very good to each other when you don't compete, when you share the same attitudes and the same desires and goals. Mm-hmm. And we can all work together and partner. There's nothing I like more than doing that.
Yeah, we agree. And our kind of one of our slogans or mantras we've kind of adopted is we're better together. And I think that that's so true. Right. And I just love to see when different groups band together, and it's just all about helping and teaching and getting more people involved. So thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. We'll stay in touch, and maybe we'll have you back on at some point again. Okay. Thank you once again.
Appreciate it very much.
All right, that's a wrap for this week's episode. Please be sure and tune in next week for another great one. If you want to help support what we're doing, please take a moment to leave us a rating and review on iTunes. We really appreciate you for taking the time to listen. Until next time, remember, 3/4 of the Earth's surface is water, and only 1/4 is land, so it's quite clear that the good Lord intended us to spend triple the amount of time fishing than taking care of the lawn. Take care, everyone.